All right, let's go to Seattle. Seattle Seahawks in their 90s uniforms. 24-20 win over the Cleveland Browns. Another wild game, man. Back and forth. It looked like the Browns had this game in hand, but a late P.J. Walker interception with about 2 minutes left in the game put Seattle in position to at least tie it, right? It was 2017 at the time. Interception with about 2 minutes left, right coming right out of the 2-minute warning. Seattle's already in field goal range, but it's Geno Smith into the flat to Jackson Smith-Njigba, the rookie, for a 9-yard touchdown with 44 seconds left. Seattle goes up 24-20. That ends up becoming the game winner. And Seattle moves to 5-2. At the same time, the game we'll talk about in a minute here, 49ers lose their third straight. So Seattle now sitting atop the NFC West.
Love those throwback jerseys.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're so nice.
Very nice.
Even like the sideline apparel is pretty sweet as well. Pete Carroll with the hoodie. Hoodie's nice too. I need to be a Seahawks fan so I can get one of those. Those are awesome.
Can we get Homage back on here as a sponsor?
Yeah.
And we'll just we should just buy all the throwback stuff.
I love
just wear throwbacks all the time.
I would buy those Seattle throwback gear. Like those are so nice. Yeah, so the other element to this was you sort of sketch the end. I'm going to start from the back rather than the front. But at one point, right towards the end, the Browns are up. They have an 83% win probability, according to whichever model they were using on the TV. They need 3 yards, essentially, before the 2-minute warning, and the game's basically over. And they pass for it. Ball ends up getting batted, then picked off. And it's batted by a blitzing Jamal Adams. It hits him in the head, effectively. PJ just beans it off Jamal Adams' head, bounces up and gets picked off. That gives the Seahawks that drive to then take the lead and put the Browns in a hole that they couldn't climb out of. But that play, 83% win probability, switches all the way to Seattle win this game. Browns never get a shot, really, to pull it back.
Yeah. Sorry, it was 2:04 left, 3rd and 3.
Yeah. So they need 3 yards before the 2-minute warning. They get the 3 yards
on the 40 on their own 41.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets tipped up and intercepted.
Yeah.
Man. Tipped up to like the other side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, he fired a bullet right into Jamal Adams' head.
Yeah.
And it flies right up.
It is one of the hardest things that we grade is not the batted pass, but like this has come up a lot of times the last few weeks when the quarterback knowingly throws it into the unblocked rusher. So like Brock Purdy's interception yesterday, which was a great pick and maybe not that bad of a throw, but this one where it's like I have to throw the ball behind this unblocked rusher. Like that's where you oftentimes have to throw the ball, but you throw the ball right off of him. Or or you're trying to throw it through him and the guy tips it up, and who knows. The difference between the ball falling incomplete and being picked is very much lucky. In this case, obviously, a huge play for Seattle. I was wrong. I didn't put him in field goal range, but Julian Love catches it right around the 40, 45.
Yeah, I mean, it set them up for a chance to go and put a score on the board and win the game. But as I say, like before that play, Cleveland were 83% chance to win the game. All they needed was 3 yards, effectively. Yeah. And instead of, not only did they not get the 3 yards, which would have been bad, but it was a turnover based off a ball getting bounced up, and it's just a wild play to swing the outcome.
The Browns just keep playing these wild back-and-forth games. I mean, Geno Smith with an awesome touchdown early on, scrambling out to Tyler Lockett. Also had a interception by Martin Emerson, where Emerson did a great Geno was up and down in this game. Throws the pick to Martin Emerson, which was a great play by Emerson, but
it was an interesting
there was
play.
Some passes to we could talk about that in a second, sorry. A couple passes to DK Metcalf that Geno Smith just completely missed as well.
Yeah.
Talk Emerson interception, though.
So, I mean, it was a really nice play by Emerson. Pete Carroll was livid because he wanted a penalty.
What did he want on that play?
He wanted a penalty for them. I can't remember if it was jumping offside or simply lining up offside, but like he wanted it to be a free play, essentially. Now, every time there's a flag on a play and it's a turnover, fans are like, he knew he had a free play. Geno was just taking a shot because he knew it was a free play. Geno has come out and said he did not think he had a free play. It was just a bad.
There was no reason to think. I'm watching. Actually, this is not the play. I'm going to find the play.
Anyway, he's come out and said he did not think he had a free play. It was bad.
I was trying to figure out what Carroll was screaming about because clearly, a lot of time when there's an interception, usually it's like, oh, pass interference or something. Emerson was just an awesome play and off coverage where he jumped it. He didn't touch Metcalf.
No.
Does he think, oh yeah, Garrett's like, yeah. Garrett might be lined up offsides.
Right. That's what Carroll wanted.
Yeah, I got you. But when somebody lines up offside, I mean, if people are, who was defending, you talking some of the 12s?
There were people out there that were like, oh, he thought he had a free play. No. Clearly.
The only time a quarterback thinks he has a free play is when a player jumps offsides.
Yes.
You're never going to know if a guy lined up offsides because you're not checking their alignment and you don't have the angle.
Right.
So you're not going to know you have a free play if he lines up offsides. It's also not smart to treat it like a free play until you actually kind of feel the flag come out.
The only time,
if it's
honestly,
right off the snap.
The only time they think they have a free play, honestly, is when they do a hard count.
Yeah.
It causes a guy to jump.
You're anticipating it.
Right. It causes a guy to jump, and you snap the ball, and then you just assume you probably got him. Even if, like, you know what I mean? Like, even if maybe he actually snuck back, and you don't. But that, I think, is the only time quarterbacks are treating it like the assumption is here, this is a free play.
So, yeah, it was a back-and-forth game. Seattle was up 17-7, but then the Browns come back, score a touchdown to make it 17-14. They tie it up at 17, a couple field goals. They end up taking the lead in the third quarter. There's no scoring in the fourth quarter. Every time Seattle's trying to make a comeback, you have, Maurice Hurst making an incredible interception.
Defensive tackle, Maurice Hurst.
Defensive tackle.
Making a crazy
interception.
interception.
Not his dad, who was a corner.
And not an interception of defensive linemen, when they get interception, it tends to be at the line of scrimmage on like a tip pass, right? He dropped into coverage and broke in front of the ball and picked it off.
Outstanding play by Maurice Hurst. And then, to me, this was just kind of classic Seahawks. I don't think Geno Smith over the last few weeks has not played the cleanest games from start to finish, but I am always so impressed by how he bounces back. And again, it might just be because in the back of my head, I'm just like, he's the guy that was a backup for 8 years. And maybe he's you always wonder if he's just still –
but also is
he that good? But he is – he'll make some bad plays in games. He'll put the ball in harm's way. But he is nails at coming back from those things.
And his good plays are insane.
Yes.
Like the beautiful passes he has are crazy good. The Browns, early in the game in particular, were killing Seattle with screens. David Njoku had a really nice one where it looked like it might have been dead at the line of scrimmage. He sort of squeezes through a gap and then has a big run after the catch opportunity. There was another play that was bizarre where I think they screwed David Njoku out of a turnover.
That play was really weird. Yeah.
It was one of those wild plays. We talked about this, was it last week or the week before, where like three different things could potentially, it was the Drake London thing, right? The weird catch where Drake London's trying to score and is sort of flipping upside down, reaching out for the end zone. Like based off how you determine the ball landing, you can essentially call it three different things. It could be a touchdown, it could be a turnover, or it could be down at the 3-inch line. This was similar where your options were like incomplete pass, turnover, or actually turnover, and it's your ball again from there. And I think the correct answer was actually the one that they definitely didn't go for, which was like ball to the DB, and then Njoku diving somehow knocks the ball out without touching the defender and recovers it himself. And it would have been their ball plus whatever, 20 yards.
They just gave him the completion, right? I'm sorry, the interception.
Yes.
Yeah. That was nuts.
But I think the correct call was actually that was an intercepted pass, which then Njoku diving knocked out and then recovered himself.
Right.
Because if he touches the player, it's interception down.
Right.
Play dead, right? But if he touches just the ball and knocks it out, he's forced to fumble without ending the play. And then he recovered the fumble, so it would be his ball. That's what I think happened.
But they were trying to say it wasn't a forced fumble, that he actually made contact somewhere along the way.
Right. Well, so that what they're saying is if he touches the player and you can't, it's the play's dead there and it can't force an incompletion because it's already, So
this is tough to follow with just like he did this, he did that, but like Njoku taking the ball from Reek Woolen should have been a fumble recovery.
Yes, should have been a fumble that he forced and recovered himself
after the interception.
Yes.
Yeah. Which was the original call.
Right. But the other alternative is they can be like the other option on the table, like the Drake London thing, is what they could have said is he forced an incompletion, which would have been even more insane. But anyway,
but that would have been very NFL that there's no such thing as possession the whole way through.
But I think like that Drake London review that they did, they basically went, this is too crazy an outcome for us to actually call. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I genuinely think they looked at that and went, this is too nuts. You cannot say that he forced a fumble on this play and recovered himself because it's too crazy. But I genuinely think that's what the correct outcome should have been, is that instead of having a turnover, they should have got the ball back. Yeah. And Njoku got shafted out of one of the plays of the season.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Look, credit Seattle, man. They were stopped on 7 straight third downs at one point. We know the Browns' defense has been really tough this year, but Seattle hung tough. They pull out the win at home. They covered the 3.5. And they win 24-20, sitting atop the NFC South at 5-2.
Never a doubt with the throwbacks.
Never a doubt.